Hello and welcome to an analysis of the VARC sectional of EOM Exact CAT 2021-2. Let's look at what Exact CAT 2 had in store for you. In terms of the paper, the sectional, VARC sectional, this was an absolute copy of slot 1 of 2020 with 26 questions, 40 minutes, 21 questions that were MCQ, and 5 non-MCQ, non-negative questions. There were 4 RCs, 2 RCs with 5 questions each, and another 2 RCs with 4 questions each. Look at also the length of the RCs. None were really long. 385 words, 410 words, 475 words, and 350 words. The total number of VA questions were 8, 3 summary questions, 2 out of context, and 3 key-in parajumbles. Let's look at what the moderate questions were, because there were no easy questions. All questions are either classified as moderate or difficult. The first RC, the one to do with sociopolitics or sociology and politics, which talked about the farmers' protest and the lack of support from other classes, particularly the middle class for the protest. There were 3 questions from this that were moderate. Out of the 4 questions, question 2, 3, 4, the main idea question and 2 inferences, clearly moderate. RC2, which had to do with research into the need for sleep, a passage that was easy to read and relatable, had 2 moderate questions out of the 4 questions. RC3, evolutionary biology, the selfish gene, had 2 out of the 5 questions that can be regarded moderate, one to do with logical structure and the other was an inference one. RC4, the sociology one, which talked of the lockdown and the way in which things changed and people's acceptance of the new normal, had 4 moderate questions, question 14, 16, and 17 out of the total 5 questions. You can see that quite a few questions from the RCs are on the easier side, moderate side. 2 of the parajumbles were easy, had very, very visible links, very clear links. 1 summary, the one that had to do with the question 24 of 200 words, was an easy one because you could eliminate the options easily. The language was moderate. There were 2 out of context questions, both of which were easy because the main idea discontinuation was visible there, marked moderate therefore. What about the difficult questions? There was 1 question in that first RC, the sociology politics one, the farmers protest question passage, which had 1 inference that was a little difficult, tricky. 2 questions from research into the need for sleep, one which was a parallel reasoning question. Parallel reasoning by its very type can be challenging. This one was difficult, question 5 that was. And question 8, the inference was also a close one, very close. However, by far, what stands out as a challenging RC here in terms of the depth of content, the subject, the topic, as well as the kind of questions, clearly is RC3, evolutionary biology, the discussion of the selfish gene, how genes and their need for survival is what determines evolution. The weakened question, which is clearly, you can see it's highlighted in red, clearly a very difficult one, marked level 4, very difficult. And especially difficult because it's difficult making sense of that question, a new type of question that was seen last year largely. Which of the following, if false, would support the assertions in the passage? If false. So you had to consider something to be false, only then would it support. In other words, weakening. Parallel reasoning question, again, a difficult one, and an inference that was very difficult. The passage also was slightly heavy, not a very easy read, you can see. RC4, on the other hand, out of 5, there were 2 difficult questions. However, the entire passage, the idea that it's discussing something relatable, people's acceptance of the pandemic times and the lockdown and the new normal. Yes, the parallel reasoning question was a little challenging, and there was this main idea related question, which was quite challenging. One parajumble, the one to do with self-publishing, marked difficult, not because it's very difficult really, but it's just that 4-2 link that was confusing. Was it 2-4 or 4-2? However, 2 of the summary questions are definitely difficult. The one to do with Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and the Bad Banks one, lengthy. The Bad Banks one was lengthy, close to 200 words. The Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, both these summary questions had options that were very close. Elimination was very difficult. So let's look at, considering the difficult questions and the moderate ones, where exactly do we find our best scores from? What questions do we look at? Surely RC1. Not only is it relatable, easy, it's also very short, probably the shortest one of the 4 RCs. RC2, the one to do with science, not the evolutionary biology one, but the research on the need for sleep. Easy, relatable, flows very well. In fact, since you are talking of very short RCs here with just 4 questions each, you just need about 9-10 minutes. Maybe some of you would have finished it in less time. The next bet for you would be RC4, the sociology one, the new normal. Though, of course, 3 of those questions are marked, 2 of those questions are marked difficult. Surely what you would want to leave out here is the evolutionary biology one because of the difficulty of the questions. So these 3 RCs taken, close to 13 questions here, and can easily be finished in about 30 minutes, 32 minutes. One summary, if you carefully looked at that, you would realize that the first summary question was okay. 2 the out of context questions, and maybe all 3 parajumbles, or perhaps 2. Not that the third parajumble was a difficult one. The second one, not very difficult, but there was that conflict between 4-2 link. So all these questions, come to 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, roughly we're looking at the range of about 17 questions to be taken, because there were 15 moderate questions, 10 difficult ones, 1 very difficult. Assuming that, you take about 13 or so from the moderate, you're able to take some 3-4 from the difficult question. We're looking at something like 17 attempts that you make. And if you can maintain an accuracy of 14 questions there, you're looking at a score of 39 for your 98th percentile. An attempt of 18 questions, yes, just 18, with perhaps just 3 incorrect, a score of 42 is where you stand for a 99 percentile. 100 percentile will require a attempt of perhaps 25 questions with 3 inaccurate, and a score of 62. That gives you your 100 percentile. 14 attempts with just 2 incorrect, a score of 35 fetches you a 95 percentile. A score of 32 with 13 attempts and 2 incorrect fetches you a percentile of 90 percentile. A score of 26, which is about 11 attempts with 2 incorrect, gives you your 80 percentile. So a score of 39 is what takes you to the 98th percentile, and anything more than that is always something that takes you to the highest levels. So a tough paper, clearly a replica of slot 1, difficult, but we hope it gave you a lot of learning. The VRC sectional, as I told you, was a replica of slot 1 CAT 20. We hope you gave this gave you great learning. Thank you.
So that was the end of CAT Exit 2. This was a tough test. The test was based on the year 2008. The quant section was based on 2008 and quite a tough test, yes. Let's have a look at the bifurcation of the questions first. Then we'll see the questions and we'll discuss whether they should have been attempted or not, worth attempting or not. Algebra had 4 questions. Arithmetic and advanced arithmetic had 13. 2 questions were more of logic or analytical reasoning. 2 questions on data sufficiency and 5 on geometry. Algebra, the first question was not first in the order, but just in this order. The first here is functions, a difficult question. And polynomials was also difficult. Out of this, there are 2 more quadratic equation questions, 1 moderate and 1 difficult. So out of the 4 algebra, only 1 was moderate, 3 difficult. Arithmetic. There was 1 question on miscellaneous or closely related to numbers or functions, a moderate one. 4 on numbers, 1 easy and 3 moderate. Numbers could have been a scoring section this time. 2 questions on time, speed, distance, 1 moderate, and 1 question was either you can call it difficult or lengthy, not very difficult, but difficult and lengthy. Permutation combination was again another section with a heavy weightage. 4 questions, 2 moderate and 2 easy, 2 difficult. Progressions, 2 questions, 1 easy and 1 difficult. Logic, miscellaneous, or as I said, analytical reasoning, this section, this questions could have been in the DI or the section, DI section. So there were 2 there which were both moderate, or maybe 1 was a little difficult. Data sufficiency, there were 2 questions. Oh yes, data sufficiency was a good favorite during those days. 2 questions and both moderate. Out of the 5 of geometry, 2 were triangles, 1 moderate and 1 difficult. The other 4 were almost all mensuration questions, but I would still call them quadrilateral and polygons. 1 was related to quadrilateral polygons, areas, a moderate one, and a circle one, a question on circles, again, area, calculation of areas. This was a little difficult, maybe moderate. And the mensuration question, volume, surface area, was very difficult and lengthy. It was probably both very difficult and lengthy because it involved differentiation, maxima, minima. So let us have a look at the questions. The 2 easy questions were 1 on numbers, the last 2 digits of 7 raised to 2021. Now, you may say this is moderate, but no, I would call this easy. Not just because you could have known this, but even if somebody wanted to calculate the cycle of the last 2 digits of 7, just 7, multiplication by 7 is not a big deal. So even if nothing is known about the theory, the cycle could have been found in the exam and quite worth it. We already know the unit digit cycle is 4. This was the last 2 digits, not just the single unit digit. It was tens and unit digit. And of course, now you should remember the cycle is 20 in general. The other easy question on progressions. 2 arithmetic progressions are given and the number of common terms is asked. Luckily, the first common term is visible in both the cases, both the APs. The last terms are given. First term is known, last term is known. All you have to do was a little bit of a calculation and there would be an answer. Okay, the moderate ones. Numbers. First was a little more towards easy rather than moderate, but maybe moderate because a little different for people, something that we might not have seen like this. Maybe interpretation of the question was a little important. The integers 1 to 80 are written on a blackboard, and a particular operation is carried out 79 times. Now, what is the operation? Any two numbers are erased. Let's say the two numbers are A and B are erased, and a new number A plus B plus 1 is written on the blackboard. So when 79, every time the operation is performed, one number reduces. Out of the 80 numbers, first there will be 79, then 78, and ultimately only one number would remain on the board. So what was that number? Not difficult. Even a few trials will give you an idea as to where to go, how to calculate. Moderate. This could have been done. Another question on numbers was defined as seed. A seed of a number n is defined. The seed of a number n is nothing but the number n if n is less than 10. That means a digit. If n is a digit, the digit itself is its own seed. Else, the seed of the number n is the seed of Sn, where Sn is given defined as the summation of the digits. And then an example was given, one or two examples were given. Okay, if this is the case, this would be the seed. To make things easier, the examples were good enough. And then the question is, how many positive integers n such that n is less than 888 will have a seed 8? For those who could quickly correlate this with digital sum, it would be an easy question. Otherwise, realizing that this is something to do with digital sum and how to proceed could be a little thought giving, creating a thought process, requiring a thought process. So a moderate question, not easy. The third on numbers, 3 consecutive positive integers are there. The first, twice the square of the second, and the cube of the third are added. The sum is the perfect square of the sum of the original 3 numbers. Frame equations and get the answer. Maybe a little lengthy to frame equations, a little lengthy to decide whether to, it would take a few seconds to decide whether to solve this or not. This should have been done. Seeds should have been done. So these were the 3 questions on numbers which are moderate and doable. Another moderate question was the time speed distance. One was difficult, as I said, but this was easy. A little moderate. 2 kids were to race each other. They were supposed to start from a point and touch a lamppost a little far off and return to the starting point. Something that we usually see out in the streets. Now, A, the faster one, crosses B 20 seconds after starting. This is what actually did happen. And the question further says, if A had run at double his speed, he would have crossed B 12 seconds after starting. And then you are asked, what is the ratio of the speeds? Very simple understanding, good enough, and something that should not have been missed. So these 4 questions were there which were not to be missed. The miscellaneous question was about the chocolate dealer. If a person buys half a chocolate, he throws away the other half. He could have eaten it. I don't know why he threw away. So anyway, so what happens on a particular day, a customer buys half the number of chocolates with the dealer. Now see, he is not buying half chocolates. He's saying half the number of chocolates that the dealer had. So if the dealer had 10 chocolates, he would buy 5. If the dealer had 9, he would buy 4.5. And the question further says, because of this, the dealer throws away half a chocolate because of this. So obviously, the number of chocolates must have been an odd number, and the dealer threw away half a chocolate. Now, the same pattern is repeated. The same happens with a second and a third customer, each time the dealer throwing away the remaining half of a chocolate. And after these 3, he has no chocolates left. So if the initial number of the chocolates was X, which of the following options would have best fit X? There are 4 options and you have to decide. Quite a moderate question, framing an equation, go and performing the same calculations 3 times for the 3 customers. Worth solving. Data sufficiency. There were 2 questions. One I consider moderate and one a little difficult, because it was a tricky one rather than difficult. A tournament, there's a knock and out tournament, and there's a big passage describing how things happen. Probably most of us might know what is a knockout tournament, but still it was defined. And it was defined how there would be a bye. What is a bye was defined there. Now, the question was, what is the number of games played by the runner-up? And the other question, of course, was the number of rounds. In the first question, based on the runners-up, number of games played by the runners-up, one of the statements said that he got 1 bye before he lost. Obviously, after anybody is lost, you can't play, you are eliminated, so you can't get a bye after you are lost. But the idea is, it was a little misguiding in the sense, when you see that he lost, then we tend to think that, okay, when did he lose? I don't know when he lost. That is what might have created a small distraction. The champion always wins all the rounds in a knock and out. He never loses. And obviously the runner-up loses the last round when the champion beats him. So there were 2 statements, one saying that how many buys did he get before he lost, and one talking about the number of players. Both of these were required because we need to know the total number of rounds and we need to know how many buys he got. So having understood both of these, we would have got an answer. So that was easy to do it. The difficult part was understanding the conditions of what is a buy, when would there be a buy. It was a whole probably 10-line description. The second question on data sufficiency was about the number of rounds played in a tournament. Now here, again, a small distraction was the number of players was not given as a discrete individual number. A range was given. In one statement, it was like the number of players is between 20 and 30, but we don't know which one. So this tempts us to say that, okay, I don't know. And maybe because we don't know, we cannot find the answer. But the first statement was easy. Between 20 and 30, it would give you an answer. The second statement says it's between 30 and 40. Now, when you read these 2 statements, you are tempted to believe that, okay, I don't know, and none of these can help us. And there is nothing where combining also is possible. So a little distraction there. Otherwise, moderate question in general. So maybe one of these could have been tried. Maybe those with a little bit of slow reading speed could have avoided these 2 questions. And they were at the end. So yes, they were at the end of the test. So maybe people might not even reach these questions. A question on quadratic equations. A function f of x is defined in a standard quadratic expression, ax square plus bx plus c. It is known that f of 4 is equal to minus 5 times f of 2. So we have one equation between ABC, and it is also known that minus 1 is a root of the function f of x is equal to 0. That means the quadratic equation standard. So another equation in ABC, 2 equations in ABC, and we are asked what is the other root. Maybe we think it is not possible to find 3 variables, 2 equations, but luckily there was no constant term and the ratio between all the 3 could be found. And that's what can give us the summation of the roots. If we know minus b by a, we know the root, summation of the roots. One is known and the other could have been calculated. Moderate. Permutation combination, there were two questions on grid, rectangular grid of roads. Total 4, but 2 on that grid. One was moderate and one was a little tricky, a little lengthy. A grid is described. There is a park with a diagonal path and a prohibited region. And somebody has to go from A to B, one corner to the opposite corner, diagonally opposite corner. The diagonal path in the park was the key part. Because it was a diagonal, it would be the shortest. And it was compulsory to use the diagonal. So it was quite a moderate question. This could have been done quite fast. This should not have been missed. The two questions on analytical reasoning, sort of. 5 horses are there: red, white, gray, black, and spotted. There is a race. And obviously, when there's a horse race, there's betting. So somebody bets, Krupal bets on these horses. The condition is the winning horse. If somebody bets on the winning horse, he gets 4 times the money that he bet. Second horse, 3 times. And the third horse gets back. If somebody bet on the third horse, he would get back his bet amount. Now, Krupal bets rupees 3,000, 2,000, and 1,000 on 3 horses, red, white, and black, respectively, and ends up with no profit, no loss. This was followed by 2 questions, both of which were like, which option cannot be true? So 3 options would be true, and one which cannot be true was to be found. A little analysis, quick analysis is worth it, worth solving the 2 questions, because there are 2 questions. Once you do the analysis, both the questions could have been answered quite fast. That analysis was a little key part. Quite moderate, not very difficult analysis. A question on progressions. Ideally, such questions are considered difficult. Yes, they are considered difficult. We don't sometimes know how to solve these questions. And this had roots and too many squares. So that way it was very, very lengthy and difficult. But why I am considering it as a moderate is that we know there is one more way of solving. Try to put n is equal to 1. When we put n is equal to 1, we have the summation of the first one term, which is the first term itself. Putting n is equal to 1, comparing the options with the number of terms, translating the options from numbers into a general pattern, and simply putting n is equal to 1 gave an answer. Put n is equal to 1 and you have an answer. So that is why I'm saying this is moderate rather than difficult. Permutation combination, one more moderate question. How many integers greater than 8,888 but not greater than 40,000 can be formed with the digits 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? If repetition of digits is allowed. So repetition is allowed, obviously. Otherwise, it would become very easy. Now, if the repetition is allowed, how many numbers are possible? 8, 8, 8, 8. You don't have 8s and 9s. So you had to cross 10,000. 10,000 had to be reached, and you don't have to cross 40,000. The only problem here was 40,000 itself. And of course, you did not have options for this question. This was a key-in type of a question. So if somebody made a mistake, it could be erroneous. It could be easy to make a mistake. So this question was a little moderate rather than difficult. But yes, not very lengthy. The question next is the triangles. Acute angle triangles with sides 724 and x centimeters. So 2 sides of the triangles are known, and one side is x, which is unknown. And it is told that the triangle is an acute angle. Now, if x is an integer, then how many such triangles exist? So knowing how to calculate the range, that is what could make it difficult, otherwise a moderate question. Maybe this could have been avoided. Permutation combination should have been done, the previous one. Another question on triangles. This is what most people should have known how to solve. In triangle ABC, AB is given as 20, AC is given as 12. So two sides with one common vertex are given. The common vertex is A. Now AD is a perpendicular to BC. So from the same common vertex, you have a perpendicular to the opposite side. So the altitude, in short. The altitude is given. So altitude is not written as altitude, but it is like AD is a perpendicular to BC. So probably the word altitude is hidden here. It is camouflaged. That length AD is given as 6. And now we are asked, what is the radius of the circumscribing circle? The circumradius is what is to be calculated. All that was needed was use of two equations for the area of a triangle. One equation of area of a triangle is half base height, and the other is ABC upon 4R. Knowing that we are to calculate R, this equation obviously should have come to the mind. ABC upon 4R, correlated with half base height, and that would give us an answer. Such equations actually should even be derived for the radius. The radius of in such cases, the equation should be derived and remembered rather than being used in an exam, rather than going by theory. Of the difficult questions, the quadratic equation, one was the moderate question in the same set of questions. The function fx is the quadratic expression, and it is known that f of 4 is minus 5 times f of 2. Minus 1 is one of the roots of the functions. And now we are asked, what is the value of a plus b plus c? Again, this was a key type of a question. No, sorry, this had options 6, 0, minus 6. But the options were very tempting. Very tempting. That's what made it difficult. Somebody might feel like knowing that, okay, the first question I have solved, I know the roots, and maybe somebody will attempt to create the equation fx is equal to 0 with the simplest forms of ABC. Ratio is known, so ABC can be found in the simplest form. But for an equation which is equal to 0, we can multiply by 3, 5 or any other number, and ABC can increase, decrease. That was the key part which would tempt somebody to make an error here. So that's, I'm putting this as a difficult question rather than a moderate, because it's tricky and tempting us to make a mistake. Two questions others on permutation combination. One, as we said, was on the rectangular grid. The earlier question was easy, going from one corner to the other. This question asked us to go from B to C, which is a point somewhere, and the only catch was the prohibited region lies between this path. So calculating both the sides of the prohibited regions, knowing how to calculate that is a difficult task here. I have given a explanation in the video explanation. You go through that. That's a good approach. That should help. The other question was, what is the number of distinct terms in the expansion of a plus b plus c raised to 24? A standard question, distribution question. Question involves distribution. Of course, the question will not mention it, but it involves a theory of distribution. And we are distributing similar objects among distinct receivers. A very simple approach, and it could have been solved. But knowing this, because it looks like not even a binomial, this is a trinomial expansion. Somebody even who knows binomial might know how to solve. But Again, how to correlate that with a trinomial expansion? And it would look like something difficult. Yes, so putting it as difficult. A question on functions. There are many varieties here. This said a function f of x is such that f of x multiplied by y is f of x multiplied by f of y. There is a variety here. F of x multiplied by y is equal to f of x plus f of y. F of x plus y is equal to f of x plus f of y. So a lot of varieties here. This is one of the least interesting ones. I call this as the least interesting. The others are very interesting and they have some real implication here, but there's something good still. Although it is less interesting, there's something which can be calculated. So we are given that f of 1 is 1, f of 2 is 2, and f of 3 is 4.5. So what is the value of f of 48? A few trials will show us that all the powers, because f of 2 and f of 3 are known, all powers of 2 can be calculated. F of all powers of 2, f of all powers of 3, and both are known. So yes, any combinations of powers of 2 and 3 can be calculated. So 48 can be done. Getting to that conclusion was difficult. Polynomials, summation of roots, product of roots, summation of the products of the roots taken two at a time, difficult. So the question said if the roots of the equation x cube minus ax square plus bx minus c equal to 0 are 3 consecutive integers, then what is the smallest possible value of b? So knowing here that, concluding here that b is the summation of the products of the roots taken two at a time, alpha, beta, beta, gamma, gamma, alpha. So that awareness, that knowledge here was important. If it was known, yes, then it is easy. So I keep sometimes repeating that questions are easy if you have solved them 3 times. Then it is not difficult. What it might be difficult for somebody else, but not for you. So this was that type of a question. Maybe, yes, we could have avoided this. Out of these 5, if someone were to solve, try something new. If we are not aware of these, what is going on, then I would say, yes, the grid is something that somebody should try. Maybe the other 4 can be a little avoided unless you are familiar. If you're familiar, obviously it is easy. If you're not familiar with the background of these questions, why they are asked, what is the background theory, then probably only the rectangular grid is what should have been attempted. The other difficult questions were circles. 2 circles, both of unit radii, intersect both circumferences. That means the circles pass through the centers of each other. What is the common intersecting area? Ideally, if you've gone through such questions, this could be moderate. A few calculations and you will have an answer. But otherwise difficult. An even more difficult question than the circles one was the quadrilaterals and polygons. A square ABCD is defined with midpoints E, F, G, H. There is a line drawn which passes through F and H, and P and Q are points on line F and H, FH, and inside the square, such that the angles APD and angle BQC are both 120 degrees. What is the ratio of the area of this quadrilateral? Sorry, not a quadrilateral, but a polygon ABQCDP to the remaining area of the square. This could have been lengthy a bit, understanding the square, getting the midpoints, drawing it, locating P and Q, and then trying to calculate. So a little lengthy and a little difficult. There were 2 questions which were very difficult or at least lengthy. Time, speed, distance. Kunal plans to drive from city A to station X at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour. Looks like a pure TSD, time, speed, distance question. But there's a lot of geometry involved. So he has to go from city A, where he might be living, to station X. and a train is going to leave from city B and going to reach station X. Now he must catch the train, he must reach X at least 20 minutes before the arrival time. That's okay, not a difficult part. Now the train leaves B located 400 kilometers south of A. So this is where the geometry path starts in. B is to the south of A. And okay, it leaves at 9 a.m. and travels at 120 kilometers per hour. That's okay. It is known that X is located between east and north east of A. This is where, again, we start getting confused. It would require a lot of patience, a lot of peace of mind, composed mind to understand all this, not be frightened of east and west and north and south. Draw a good diagram and yes, solve the question. So east of it is lying between east and northeast, not between east and north. That would be easy, but it is between east and northeast. This is just probably to frighten away somebody because the angle is given with AX at 120 degrees to AB. So the angle is given. If it were not mentioned in which direction, it would still be the same thing then. So that probably would just frighten away somebody between east and northeast. Similarly, X is located between north and northeast of B. Again, as we said, probably more to frighten away. With BX at 30 degrees to AB. So understanding these wordings, trying to plot a graph, north, south, east, west, trying to plot AB, doing the geometry part, and then the time fleet distance. The latest time by which Kunal must leave A to still catch the train is closest to. So again, the answer was not the latest time by which he must leave, but it is closest to which. So there was no way you could even go by options. This was like more like something sometimes I'm tempted to call a one-way question. You just have to solve it. Theoretically, you can't go by options. So this was not very difficult, but difficult and lengthy. And the last question, which was very difficult and lengthy, was the mensuration. Area, surface area, volume. Consider a right cylindrical cone, circular cone of base radius 4 and height 10. So a cone is there. That part is easy. A cylinder is to be placed inside the cone with one of the flat surfaces resting on the base of the cone. Good. Now comes the toughest part. Find the largest possible total surface area of the cylinder. So this is a question on maxima minima. A cylinder is to be placed inside a cone and it should have the largest surface area. How do I get it? So that is difficult, very difficult. And the approach is to create an equation. Of course, getting the surface area of a cylinder, probably everybody knows. Converting the height into radius, differentiating with respect to radius. Differentiation was important. Maxima minima for maxima minima. Differentiate with respect to the radius, equate to 0, calculate the radius, then go back and calculate the surface area with that radius. So this was difficult, very difficult and lengthy. So maybe these two questions definitely should have been avoided. That brings us to the overall summary. 2 easy, 15 moderate and 7 difficult questions, and last two that we discussed, very difficult or lengthy. So having a tough paper like this, I would expect the 2 easy ones to have been solved. If anybody is at 98 percentile or 98 plus percentile, the easy ones should not have been missed. Out of the 15 moderate questions, 10 could have been done. Maybe 5 we might not be able to identify. We can leave 5. And 1 out of those difficult ones. 1 out of those difficult ones. So I'm just expecting a 30 for a 98 percentile. I'm expecting 13 attempts. 13 attempts and a fairly good accuracy. 11 right, 2 wrong would give us a score of 31. 31 for a 98 percentile, 47 for a 100 percentile, 35 for 99, 47 for 100 percentile, 35 for 99, and 31 for 98 percentile. 95 percentile would have somewhere around 26 marks. Imagine 26 is something like you attempt, you get 9 correct. I'm taking 3 plus 3 here and minus 1 here. So you attempt 9 questions. If all 9 are correct, a score of 27 was possible. So 95 percentile is at a score of 26. 90 percentile at 21. And 15 marks could still get us 80 percentile. Just 15 marks, which would be like getting 5 correct answers. This was a tough paper in general. So this is the analysis of the quant section. Best of luck for the preparation. And yes, we are very close now to the CAT. Best of luck for the preparation.
Welcome guys. LRDI analysis for exec CAT 2. I can say that well-balanced paper, or rather I should be saying easier paper with lots of easy to moderate sets, doable sets. But again, key for this particular, you can say test is selection. Again, scoring somewhere around 20 marks was easy. But again, the challenge is to maximize the score with a time limit. That was very important. So selection was very important for this whole paper. And that too, when you will see the pattern of the questions. Very first question, not very difficult, doable, but again, certainly this is not one of those sets that you should have started the whole test with. So this set is doable with little bit of calculation, some percentage calculation, little bit of comprehension of the language, because lots of sentences are there. So you have to read, you have to comprehend, and you have to implement. So even if it is doable, but in case you haven't started your test with this set, that was a wise decision, certainly a wise decision. But first set, later on, if we are getting time to solve it, we can certainly come back to this set. Now, second set, lots of data. And apart from that, even the nature of the question, you will see the questions, it is lots of counting the cases. Sometimes it is very easy to count the cases outside the exam. But again, sometimes while writing the test, even if you miss the one case, this is certainly going to waste all our effort. So this is again one set that you should have left initially, unless you don't have enough time to come back and solve this set. Now, after these two sets, certainly all of a sudden the level of the question is very doable now, especially for those students who solve this type of set, some scheduling type of set. So they could have easily solved this set. Nevertheless, even if you left it in the first attempt, that is okay, that is fine. But this was doable set. The easiest of the set was this one. So everybody should have solved this set, irrespective of whether you are good in LRDI or not. So this is very doable set, and quite possible after this, the whole paper is going to give you a feel of easy questions. So 13 to 16, the family members, they're going for picnic, car, and 2 accommodation are there, jeep and car. So this was quite doable. So once you solve this question, all of a sudden the next level of confidence will be there. With that confidence, again, this set is also doable. In case you haven't solved this set in the test, please ensure that you are checking this set, especially for those of you who already have experience of such set, you should have certainly solved it. So doable set, very doable. Not that easy, but doable. Now this one was a gift at the end. Somebody who will have enough patience to just go to the data, jot down the data somewhere. Questions were especially very easy. Even if you're not able to handle the whole set, whole data properly, but when you will start solving questions, you'll find them quite doable. So 4 questions. So overall, this paper, if I have to classify it, so first 3 vaccines, 2 vaccines earlier, and then later on they added 1 vaccine later on. So that set was, I would consider moderate. Network, I consider moderate to difficult. Why? Because the counting of the cases were there. So small mistake can cost you a lot. But again, these are the sets I would suggest. Please, for sure, solve these sets after the test for sure. There are lots of learning here. Supermarket set, again, easy to moderate. Picnic was easiest. Then 12 stage vaccine production was easy. Web series was easy. So last half of the paper was quite doable. Now the key was here. You should have patience to go and check all the sets. Let's say somebody would have started from this set, then in that case, quite possible you would have faced lots of problems. So it's all about selection here. So now if I have to explain the expected attempts and all those. So 12 questions were easy. So out of 12, 10 is something I'm expecting that you should have solved. Out of easy to moderate, 4 questions. Let's say even if I'm solving 3 questions, out of moderate 4 questions, if I'm doing 2 questions, in that case, 10 plus 3, 13 plus 2, 15. 15, let's say 13 correct and 2 incorrect. Even in that case, 39 minus 2. So this is somewhere around 37. Your score would be more than 98 percentile, less than a little bit, or very nearby 99 percentile. So between 98 to 99 percentile. So challenge was just to maximize the score after 2025. So that was one challenge. Otherwise, this was quite a good doable, you can say, section. So this is about LRTI. Now overall, if you will see the paper, quant, again 80 percentile was 15 marks, 98 percentile is 31 marks. Quite possible few of you would have found it difficult, but okay. It's a good paper to learn. Yes, paper was not that easy. DILR, I already explained you DILR. So in that case, so somewhere around if you're getting 32, 30, 33, 34, 35, so that is a very safer score. And it was really very easy to score till 99 percentile also. Somebody who would have done proper preparation in DILR, you could have scored this much. Similarly, for verbal ability, 26 is for 80 percentile, 32, 90 percentile, around 39 for 98 percentile. Those of you who got less score, certainly you should go and analyze it properly, the reason behind getting less score. But yes, this was not very easy paper. And anyway, in detail analysis, you would have seen the verbal detail analysis, you would have got the sense of the paper. But overall, this is what I would suggest regarding this particular test. And you can easily see the difference between the 99 percentile and 100 percentile. There's a big difference because in such papers where even especially just because of LRDA also, so there's lots of a scope of increasing overall score because those who can solve, they could have easily got more score also. Even if you are getting 51, so then you end up reaching 80 percentile. 51 means 17 question, 17 correct question out of 3 sections. So average it is going to be 6 question per set. So that means you have 40 minutes for 6 correct question. So time is not a constant for getting 80 percentile. Even for 62 also, let's say 62 if I am saying, so 21 correct, that means 7 question. Average 7 question in 40 minutes. Guys, very doable. Even if I'm taking 25, average 8 question and some, let's say, quant is your favorite, so 1 extra. So 9 question. So you would have got your percentile somewhere around 95 percentile. And after that, similarly in the same way. So guys, this is exact paper. I would suggest please just go and ensure that after completion of the test, you are revising things properly. And revision doesn't mean only just revising the question or seeing the solution of the question. It is also about finding the pattern of the mistakes that you are committing while writing the paper. Because as a human being, we are prone to repeat our pattern of mistake. It's very important to find that pattern so that we can start on that, work on that pattern, and we can ensure that next time we are not going to repeat this pattern. With this particular thing, just I'm going to end this analysis. So thank you everybody. Keep studying. Bye-bye.